Chandi sunim malayara aiche suayam parasayara sage vare gambira Siddha siddhim mamadi santu Siddha siddhim mamadi santu. His Holiness to Acharya Mahashimanji, respected Samniji, Acharya Mahapragyaji is an alphabet of success. Every person has a role model, and my role model is Acharya Mahapragyaji. And I have learned a life lessons from Acharya Mahapragyaji's life, and you can also apply in your life. Always smile, soul in the center, detachment, talk less, study more, strong resolution, challenge yourself, stick to a healthy diet, master the art of control. Today, my topic is freedom from sorrow. For this, we have to understand first joy and sorrow. A discussion was going on between the Guru and his disciple. The Guru promised that he can show the way to eternal happiness. The disciple was very excited. Eternal happiness is not an ordinary happiness. There are two types of happiness, temporary and permanent. Nature has its own cycle. After happiness follows sadness, and after sadness follows happiness. In a day itself, you would experience this cycle numerous times. In a single day, man becomes happy and sad numerous times. This cycle continues forever. There are many people who lose their temper in a day 10 times and become happy 10 times. Like day and night, the cycle of happiness and sadness also keeps moving. Night followed by day and the day followed by night. Similarly, happiness followed by sadness and sadness by happiness. The Guru said that he would show the path of eternal happiness where there is no night, where there is no darkness. It is always filled with light. The disciple said that he would be blessed if the Guru could show him the path to eternal happiness. The disciple sat down to listen to his Guru. The Guru said, but first you have to understand unhappiness, reasons of sorrow. This is also termed as dark. What is dark? So first we have to understand what is dark. In term dark, D stands for desire. D means desire, the root cause of sorrow. Acharya Mahashimanji said, desires are like slow poison. Desires are self-destructive. Even if desires are given up superficially, but are secretly still desired, then they are left with nothing but misery. Whatever one's feelings are, the results are in accordance. It is rightly said, desire, I know your nature. The more you are fulfilled, the more you come in. Hence, O desire, I will not have indulgence with you. I will not pamper you, so you can never be mine. There was a queen who was very good at horse riding. She would always win all the horse races at first place. There was one person who was jealous of his success of her and started to find a way to defeat the queen. He soon found out the queen's weakness. She was very fond of gold. He threw some gold bars on the track where the race was supposed to be conducted. When the race began, the queen saw those glittering bars and could not resist the temptation. She slowed down the horse to pick them up and as a result, lost the race. The reason for the queen's defeat was not because of the horse's weakness or queen's lack of success, lack of skill. She was defeated because she had no control over the desires. So in the Svikalik Sutra, the Jain Agam scriptures, it articulates that anger destroys love. Ego destroys humility, deceit destroys relation, and greed destroys all the three: love, humility, relations. It is said that the navel is the source of the awakening of desires. All cravings are centered there. It is a source of attachment and restlessness and immorality. Desires are born there. A person whose consciousness resides below the navel is known as Ichhapurus. Three types of people holding desire. One is Mahecha, one with many desires. Alpecha, one with a few desires. Anicca, one with no desires. So, in which category we belong, we have to identify ourselves. Now, in the term dark, A stands for attachment. Let me address you one incident. Once there was a sannyasi who lived in a shady place. He did not have much to preserve and lived a very simple life. One day, when he was gone, a thief entered his place and stole whatever he could grab. The thief then was caught and taken for hearing in the court. The judge asked the thief, "What did he steal?" The thief answered, "I did not take anything, judge." The sannyasi said, "He took everything of mine." Now the sannyasi said, "He took my precious blanket." The thief said, "Yes, I took the blanket, but that is it." The sannyasi said, "My blanket was my everything. I used as it is my blanket, my pillow, my bedspreads, as and when I needed, and so it was my everything." Here we can see attachment to anything leads to sorrow and pain. Humans are the smartest creatures on this earth, but they are burdened with sorrow. Now that you know, D stands for desire, A stands for attachment. Why don't you keep making a note somewhere which will help you remind yourself in your life? Further in the term dark, the third letter R stands for rage, that is anger. Fire burns the outside of objects, but anger burns and destroys the inside characteristics of the soul, such as knowledge, energy, etc. Then it burns others, but not always. If someone is a forgiving person, he cannot burn himself like a wet tree. Anger destroys politeness, wisdom, and paralyzes the power of mind and reason. On account of anger, the angry man's blood boils and he loses his physical and mental health as well. An angry man does not listen to suggestion or advice of others. Advice only serves to intensify anger at that point. 1 minute of anger destroys 9 hours of energy. Anger is harmful in any situation, be it whatever. A boy was asked, "Why do you get angry all the time? I always see your face red and blue." He replied, "By the way, I was born in Holi. That's why my face is always red and blue." I guess these days in this world, everyone is born in Holi and reflects red and blue face all the time. A beautiful saying in Jain Agam goes, "Upasamena Hari Koham." Eliminate the anger through calmness. People in social life may face many problems. One of them is anger and the behavior triggered by it. Anger is twofold. The first form of the anger is, we can say, just stimulated willingly or unwillingly and becomes difficult to control. In the second type of anger, the speech becomes rough, but the person is mentally in peace. The second type of anger is not as dangerous as the first one is. Some people remain distressful because of their aggressive nature. They do not want to be angry, but as an adverse situation comes angry. There have been a number of great saints in India, like Eknath, Namdev, Swami Ramdas, etc. They have attained the higher state in sadhana. Once someone doubted Namdev's ability to control his anger and decided to test him. When Namdev was having his meal, The man came and sat on his shoulders. It would be normal for a person to get angry at such behavior. But Namdev said happily, I have a number of friends, but you are the only dear friend who has sat so affectionately on my shoulders. Only a person who has conquered anger can make such a statement. Acharya Sri Mahapragyaji was one asked on his 75th birthday that ever get angry in his life. He replied, maybe I will have to count on the tip of my fingers to figure it if ever I got angry in the past 75 years. Now just reevaluate self that how many times do we get angry in a day? Now in the term dark, the last letter of dark, K, stands for karma. Karma, the seeds of joy and sorrow. It's very beautifully said. Karma has no menu. You get served what you deserve. When a bird is alive, it eats ants. When the bird is dead, ants eats the bird. Time and circumstances can change at any time. Don't devalue or hurt anyone in life. You may be powerful today, but remember, karma is more powerful than you. One tree makes a million matchsticks. Only one matchstick needed to burn a million trees. So be good and do good to others. We can also say that Acharya Mahapragyaji in his book, he said, karma means the impact of your action. We are referring to past action, whatever you have got today, the kind of family, the kind of home, friends, things that you did and did not do. All these things are influencing you. Every thought, emotions, and actions comes only from the past impressions that you have had within you. They decide who you are right now. The very way you think, feel, and understand life is just the way you have assimilated inputs. We call this karma. Lord Mahavira said, Karane kamman in mukha athi. You have to face the deeds of your karma. There is no escape. You have to face whatever you have done. When you sow a plant, the kind of seeds you use, the way you nurture it, the kind of soil and fertilizers you use will result in its fruitfulness. Similarly, the deeds which you have done in the past is your present, and the deeds you are doing in the present will be your future. So be very mindful of your actions. Dhritarashtra, that character of Mahabharata, why was he blind? Because of his past deeds, causing fire in jungle, which lead to killing 100 snakes' eggs. As a result, he was born blind, and right in front of him, his 100 sons were killed. As the discussion was going on between the Guru and his disciple, after learning this, the disciple said, I understood what is the cause of sorrow, which is dark, but let me also know what is happiness and how can I adopt to live happily? The Guru replied, you have to be free from some of the kings. I am giving you 7 powerful words for freedom. Follow it and be happy using this acronym of the word freedom. So let me explain what does this word freedom is known as. The first F of freedom is power of fearlessness. The world we live in is very dynamic, nothing but vibrations, eternal flux. Movement means change of place. We are at particular spot. As we move, the place changes. Both the conscious and unconscious world are subject to continual motion, constant changes there. Our mind is too very dynamic. It is also running helter-skelter all the time. Now it is one place and a little later it moves to another place. You are sitting in London, but the place moves to America. If you are sitting in America, your thinking moves to or thoughts moves to another place. Likewise, the procession of our mind with its changing thoughts and patience is ever on the move. Now it is anger, now fear, lust, attachment, later hatred, or malice, greed, and ambition. Different emotions come to the force one after another and present their image. Among these, fear occupies the first place. Acharya Mahapragyaji said in his book Understanding Joy and Sorrow, fear is the greatest of all of them. Man fears everything. One fear follows another. There is never an end to it. One tries to get rid of one fear, and in the very attempt to do so, another fear rises in its such place. Such in man's nature. Fear is his constant companion. He never can get rid of it. There are 7 circumstances which destroy happiness and create fear, and it is very essential to know them. Number 1 is the fear of this world. Number 2, the fear of the other world. Number 3, the fear of likes and dislikes. 4, sudden fear. Number 5 is the fear of suffering. The biggest fear is the 6th one is the fear of death. And the 7th one is the fear of disgrace. Lao Tse, the great preceptor of Tao religion, came across a horseman, and during his travels, Lao Tse asked him, "Who are you, brother?" And the horseman said, "I am the plague. Where are you going?" "To Shanghai." "What will you do there?" "Will kill 10,000 people." Lao Tse went ahead. Okay, the horseman also moved on, and some day elapsed. While returning of journey, Lao Tse came again across the same horseman. Lao Tse said, "So you are back?" "Oh yes, my task is over." "You told me a lie. You said you were going to kill 10,000 people." "Yes, I did. I never told a lie. But you did, for 50,000 people fell victim to the plague in Shanghai." "Of course, what you say is true. 50,000 did die in Shanghai, but sir, I was responsible for the death of only 10,000. The remaining 40,000 died of fear. What could I do? I never told you a lie." So is the situation today. Everyone is so fearful from within of COVID-19, we can say, that the fear itself is killing them from the within. So the only remedy is fearfulness. Only remedy is fearlessness. How much we can be fearlessness? The second power of the freedom is R, that is realization. The first thing for the realization is self-inquiry. It all starts here. The moment you ask, "Who am I? What is your purpose? And why you are here at this time?" your long process of self-realization begins. It typically starts when you see yourself as a singular expression instead of being part of a hive or cluster of a group or group mind. Those aspirations for singularity may initially reveal themselves in numerous ways, such as personalized appearance, unconventional thoughts, talents, creative outbursts, and questioning authority and conformity. Such expressions hint at your soul's yearning for liberation and freedom. Although your initial quest for individuality may be cultural, programming, and trend, but if you continue the search, the process will become more refined. The second thing is realization through self-discovery. The process of self-discovery will be rocky and very challenging. However, with high determination, you will gradually chip away at it. If self-realization was easy, more would seek it. But the fact is, almost everyone is just focused on others. Acharya Mahapragyaji said, only a nano% of the world's population is actively on the track of self-realization. Self-discovery will be painful at first, as you may discover things about yourself that are unpleasant or creepy, but gradually you will learn to accept yourself for who you are and commit to your path of constant growth with prejudice. He said in his book, Abstract Thinking, very beautifully, that self-realization is a far-reaching but attainable goal. Man should try to recognize self-weaknesses prior to self-realization. The finger pointing which is being done towards others, if pointed towards a self, can solve many problems typically attributed to others. For a progressive life, man should recognize, realize, and work to remove his weaknesses. It is also a kind of self-realization. Acharya Tulsi and Acharya Mahapragyaji have propounded a technique of meditation for self-realization known as Priksha meditation. Meditation brings a paradigm shift from instability to stability, from the external to the internal, from the activity to non-activity. The person moves from unrestrained to self-restraint and from darkness to light. Many people combat their problems through practice of meditation and evolves towards spirituality. How much we can become spirituality? Now the question is, how can we achieve self-realization in this modern age, we can say in this 21st century or in this busy life? It is said, stay focused on your goals, even if it means by writing them down or a sticky note or posting it in clear views or making notes on your phone, rather than focusing on others' life and achievements through Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Second is breathe mindfully. Just try to for 10 minutes a day by focusing on your breathing, and you can letting your thoughts escape your mind. You will be surprised seeing that practicing. If you practice this one, you will be surprised at how you are feeling good. Number 3 is be productive. These days, most people try to gain pleasure through binge watching. I think so. It's very common now in COVID-19 because everyone is sitting at home. But instead, why not to be productive and utilize your skills, explore your skills such painting, cooking, writing, and many more, and present it through social media? Why not use this platform positively? Clean up after yourself. Do you leave dirty dishes in the sink and laundry on the bed? Do you have a cluster of coffee mugs filling with dust on your desk? Clean it up. Not only are you creating an eyesore for those around you, you are also doing yourself a disservice. Being aware of your own messes and having the initiative to clean up after yourself right away is a sign of maturity. So this is the, now the E in the freedom, the first E is the existence of E in the term freedom stands for equilibrium, the hidden secret of absolute happiness. Unless and until we understand the secret of equilibrium, we will not be able to gain happiness. Equilibrium in its highest form is attained by a Vitarag, one who is free of attachment and aversion. Only a Vitarag can attain eternal happiness. Other forms of happiness are momentary. The moods of the old, youth, and children keeps on changing. In the day and night, we see how much time our moods change. What is the reason for such change? The reason is that they are not searching for eternal happiness. If they search for it, then eventually there will be no such fluctuations. With the end of such fluctuation, a person attains the happiness. It is said that one very beautiful story comes. Chanakya was traveling on the way. He saw a small food stall of an old lady. He went inside and the lady served him hot khichdi. Chanakya straight away put his hand right in the middle of the khichdi and burnt himself. The lady said, "I guess you are dumb like Chanakya." Hearing this, Chanakya was surprised and asked the lady, "How can Chanakya be dumb?" The lady replied, "Obviously, if he were intelligent, then he would not attack straight on the capital of the country to conquer victory. He would first try to conquer the surrounding states, and then gaining more power, he would attack the capital." Chanakya realized what the old lady said was relevant and so true. In life, similarly, We'll end up doing such mistakes too. We straight away approach towards our soul and work towards serenity of our soul. But without eradicating kashais, one cannot equanimity. One cannot attain the equanimity. And without seeking equanimity, it is not possible to reach one's goal also. It is very beautifully said by Acharya Mahapragyaji. The feelings of anger, hatred, fear, and greed become an obstacle to achieving permanent happiness. There have been many inventions in the world, right from the needle to the atom bomb, but no invention has yet been done made to produce happiness. The spiritual acharyas have discovered the secret of happiness and peace. They say, walk on the path of Vitaragata and you will always be happy. To bring equilibrium or to bring equanimity, we have to goodbye the 5 things in our life. Goodbye to judgment. Goodbye to materialistic things. Goodbye to obsessive perfection. Goodbye to toxic people. Goodbye to please everyone. If these 5 things we are going to adopt, we can be a very happy life we can live. So the first thing is goodbye to attachment. A young couple moves into a new neighborhood. The next morning, while they are eating breakfast, the young woman sees her neighboring hanging the washed clothes outside. That laundry is not very clean. She doesn't know how to wash correctly. Perhaps she needs better laundry soap. Her husband remains silent. Every time her neighbor hangs her washed clothes to dry, the young woman makes the same commands. A month later, the woman is surprised to see nice, clean, washed laundry and tell her husband, looks like she finally learned how to wash correctly. I wonder who taught her this. The husband replies, I got up early in this morning and cleaned up our windows. The woman in this story decides to focus on judging others before judging herself. This happens all the time with us. When we are judgmental, it shows we lack self-acceptance. Since we are often in a battle with ourselves, instead of dealing with our own pain, we choose to be judgmental of others instead to feel better. So the first thing is, don't be judgmental. Goodbye to judgmental. The second thing is, goodbye to materialistic things. We live in a modern capitalist society that makes one give importance to materialistic things to be happy. So one keeps buying not because he really needs it, but just to please oneself. It is just an elusive happiness. Gaining materialistic greeds lead to nothing but just unhappiness and depression. Thinking of materialism is a prison and nothing. It's one that most people don't escape from because they don't realize what it is gain and false happiness. It's difficult to free yourself from something you do and don't realize it's holding you down. So the thing is that second thing is get rid away from the materialistic things, going buy and buy, do it less and less. The third is goodbye to obsessive perfection. Is there anything wrong with improving yourself? No. But being obsessed with perfection is wrong. It starts with realizing over-perfection is a problem. There's nothing wrong with setting goals and having high standards. However, it can be unhealthy to be over-perfectionist since you will always feel unsatisfied. For example, for a mother, grooming her child to perfection is the ultimate goal. But to keep nagging her child all the time to be perfect in whatever they are doing is not the ultimate. Just you say, dress perfectly, eat perfectly, go to school perfectly, speak perfectly, everything perfect. And at the end, what happened? Because that might create negativity in the child. So try not to be obsessive perfection. Goodbye to toxic people. What is the problem of being around people who are manipulators and complainers? One of them One of the main problems is that they don't realize how contagious that toxicity is. If you surround yourself with toxic people, you will be less likely to live a happy and fulfilling life. That's a simple fact. Also keep in mind, toxic people creates a crisis and a drama in order to get attention and to manipulate others. Toxic people also prey on others person's problems and weaknesses in order to elevate their own happiness. The bottom line is delete, delete, and delete the toxicity. Goodbye to please everyone. It's natural for most of us want to people like. If we spend most of our time, effort, and money trying to please others, it can prevent us from living a happy life ourselves. This has a lot to do with our perception of what makes people happy. Pleasing others should not be a prioritize over your own happiness, because if we try to please others, we cannot be happy. So it is a thing, the first we have discussed. Now the alphabet second E of freedom is efforts. How much efforts we can do. Once looking at a student dedication, goddesses Saraswati Devi was impressed and said, "I'm so impressed by your dedication. Please ask whatever you wish for." The student replied, "I do not want to ask for anything." Hearing this, Goddess Saraswati was surprised and asked again and again, but the student kept denying for any needs. Finally, when Saraswati Devi insisted a lot, he said, "Devi, I wish to study and work hard only with my own efforts and dedication. If you wish to grant me something, then give me a lamp that keeps burning all throughout, and the oil needs for it to burn never perishes. This lamp should keep glowing forever. Beside this, I do not want anything. This would be your great blessings." Every person should attain such intense eligibility and qualification that he need not seek for any magical blessings. But this is possible only when one's dedication to hard work is intense. We should always try that how much hard work we can do in our lifetime. Now, what is D in front in the word freedom? The fifth letter word. D is for detachment. We have discussed in the word dark about the attachment. Here we will learn about detachment, the reason of happiness. In today's world, the practice of detachment is an appropriate solution for peace and happiness and lasting health. The solution is within your reach. Detach yourself from the comfort zone. Number one is detachment in relationships. In all relationships, there is need to practice a certain amount of detachment. We might wonder why we need so much of detachment in our relationships also. The answers are many. Detachment is needed so that you do not take everything personally because you don't control their reactions. Detachment is needed so that you don't seek their validation to that extent that your own opinions start to diminish. Detachment is needed to understand that love is about acceptance, not about the control. It is needed to understand that you alone are the master of your own lives, and you need to draw boundaries so that others don't control you. Detachment in love is necessary to maintain the optimum amount of distance that is most essential for the growth. The second thing is detachment from your own experiences. There are two aspects in life to experiences. One is gain learning from an experience and move further in life with new wisdom, and other aspects is to carry bitterness, guilt, and regret over the past experiences and letting them change your present days. This often happens when we fail to completely detach from our bad experience. When something bad happens, we feel free to feel the pain, grieve, and let go. Only through acceptance you can free yourself from the way and detach yourself. So detach from your experiences also. Detachment from your work. And it's, I think, so most important because each and every people only does work, work, work. You are not your job. You are not how much money you have in the bank. You are not the car you drive. You are not the content of your wallet. Acharya Mahapragyaji has said more than 90% define their personal identities through their career. I am doctor, I am engineer, or anything else. Detachment from work means that when you leave your workplace, you leave your work related worries there also. Acharya Mahapragyaji, after completing the work, used to say, "Nisse Samani." Today, what I had to do is completed. Detachment from work means that you do not define your personal worth too closely to your performance at your workplace. So, this one word, Nisse Sam, if this one word sutra you apply in your life, you will feel so relaxed. Detachment from your own thoughts. Detaching yourself from your thoughts requires an understanding of the fact that our thoughts are just the thoughts, they are not the ultimate truth or reality. You enter a state of mind in which you witness us clearly and calmly with goodwill, whatever you are seeing. Hearing, thinking, enjoying, or suffering. You watch your problems, fears, and challenges as if you are not bound or preoccupied by them. With practice, your turbulent thoughts and negative emotions will lose their grip on your mind. They will not also be able to drive you or distort your inner potential and well being. Now, the fifth detachment is detachment from the sense of time. I have no time. A lot of our anxieties are caused by thoughts of not having enough time for all that we have want to do. We have huge plans for the months and even years, whose enormity makes it difficult for us to live our present time in the best possible today. The only time we have in hand for sure. Detachment from time can help you become more aware of the transient nature of our lives and help you become more and more peaceful because we don't know that when we are going to die. It is said that it is we are alive now, but on the next moment, who knows what's going to happen? So all that has passed before and all that is coming ahead is immaterial. So get detached from these five things, and the D is for detachment. Now comes let learn the term O, the sixth letter of the freedom, that is openness. Openness is the first step of the transformation. Have an openness to just accept it is as it is. Accept that you cannot change the world into being what you want it to be. Life becomes a lot easier when you accept it as it is, not as you want it to be. There are negative things in the world. We cannot control them. If you don't have control over change, why waste time on changing the world? Why don't you change yourself first? A very beautiful story comes in the life of George Bernard Shaw. He prayed to God and he said, God, please give me the power to change the world. And he tried for a long time, but he could not do it. And again, now next, he changed his word and said, oh Lord, please give me the power to change the society. Yet after a long time, he could not do this. And now he asks again to the Lord, please, Lord, give me the power to change my surroundings and the people in my surroundings. But after a long time, he could not even change his surroundings and the people around him. Now he changed his words and said, oh Lord, please give me the power and strength to change myself such that I can accept people the way they are. So the first thing we have to do is that accept. Openness to accept that how much we can accept to the other. Number two, be open to other people. You cannot change other people, it does not work. Trying to change other is simply a fast track way to destroy the relationship. So be open to accept other people the way they are. Why? Because good relationships require acceptance. Like, how can one like you or love you if you don't accept them for who they are? I once spoke with a lady who had a long-term happy marriage, and she told that the secret to her relationships with her husband was that she never tried to change her husband, nor her husband tried to change her. We have always accepted one another. So always accept one another, and if you accept one another, the relationships will be more wonderful. The third comes open to accept yourself. There are many people in this world who have not learned to accept themselves. As a result, they lack confidence and they go through life at the mercy of others. A small insult or unkind comment from someone else can wound their self esteem. Be open to accept yourself the way you are. So, if someone criticizes you or hurt you, but at that time, what you can do, you have to accept yourself. When you accept yourself, you are liberated from the opinions of others. They just don't matter, and that allows you to go into the world confidently with a shield that protects you from the we can say occasional unkind remark. Last but not the least, M of the word freedom stands for mind beyond mind. And I think so. This is a very good book of Acharya Mahapragyaji, Mind Beyond Mind. In this book, he has said, I am alone. Is it possible to be alone? Who can be alone? As long as you have this body, mind, memories, imaginations, and thoughts, till then a person cannot be considered alone. Even in the caves of Himalayas, deep within the sea, or up in the sky, one cannot be alone. Only a person who has learned to live beyond his mind can live in isolation. In the world of yoga and in the Western countries, numerous discussion is happening on beyond mind. Beyond mind is a very difficult state of mind to be achieved. Everybody can experience and recollect what they have done the whole day. But just what you have to do, just as you complete 1 hour, then what you can do, after 57 minutes, you can concentrate on your breathing. We can attain constant happiness only after we have abandoned the activities of the mind. As long as the mind is active, one cannot attain constant happiness. It acts as a barrier like the cloth. Thinking acts as a big hindrance. So the thing is that how much we can go mind beyond mind. Once one Jain monk was in intense meditation and was in Kayot Mudra, and some shepherds were wandering around and they also went stood by the Jain monk. All of a sudden they noticed a black poisonous snake and immediately they climbed upon the tree saving themselves. They also yelled, addressing the monk, and said, "Hey, monk, please move away, move away." Now the shepherd thought that maybe the monk is deaf, he cannot hear, and the snake also beat him, and after he finally left. After a while, when the monk finished meditating, shepherds got down from the tree and bowed to the monk and said, and you go to the doctor and get a remedy, because one black snake came and beat you badly. Please check and find some remedy for it. The monk said, "No, I don't need anything, because at that time what I was doing, I was not in the mindfulness. I was in my state of mind beyond the mind." But when you are in the state of mind beyond mind, your conscious mind, then if you are in the conscious mind, then the poison will affect you at all. So whenever practice how much you can go to the mind beyond mind. So 5 practical tips you can apply in your life, that how can we live a happy life And for a happy life, you can start right now also. Like some practical tips Acharya Mahapragyaji has given, that control your breath. How much you can control your breath? As I have said, after 50 minutes or 55 minutes, do only 1 minute for you can do practice breathing. Stop overthinking. How much you can stop overthinking? Number 3, sit calmly for 10 minutes. How much you can sit calmly? And number 4, imagine a purple fire in your mind. Just think that all the bad things, all the negative emotions, all the negative thoughts, everything is burning like a fire. Number 5, bless all the poor and bad thoughts to leave you forever by saying Tathastu. Whatever happens, just say Tathastu, Tathastu, and Tathastu. And now, leading the journey from darkness to freedom. And now, disciple, you see, is also very happy with his guru, and he understood the tips of the child. And I was very he is very joyful that he understood all the tips of the child, and he thanked to his guru. So finally, our journey should be free from dark to the power of freedom. To understand the joy and sorrow, we have to be free from the dark. So just a quick review. The word dark stands for, D is for desire, A is for attachment, R is for rage, and K is for karma. And apply 7 powers in your life. F is for power of fearlessness, power of realization, power of equilibrium, power of effort, power of detachment, power of openness, power of mind beyond mind. And I think so these 7 powers, if you apply in your life, this will be a very good thing, and you can live a very happily, and you can live a very good life also in your future. I would like to conclude my speech with a small gesture of thanks in few words. First of all, I would like to thank Acharya Mahapragyaji, who has given best out of best through his books. In his lifetimes, he has written more than 350 books. And I am lucky that today I have been his messenger and deliver his message to you all. And I also sincerely thanks to Samani Neeti Pragya for being my mentor and guiding me throughout this project. And lastly, thank you to Samani Pratibha Pragyaji for offering me such a beautiful platform to present the thoughts of Acharya Mahapragyaji. So we should have that, how much we can spread the thoughts of Acharya Mahapragyaji in our lifetime. Om Arham.
Vandami Namasami Samniji. First of all, thanks a lot for your enlightening talk. When you started, I wasn't sure how you will cover such a vast topic in just a matter of 40 minutes. But I think from the comments that we are seeing both on Zoom as well as YouTube, everybody is absolutely overwhelmed by what you're saying and what you have discoursed so far. For everybody's benefit, if you would like to raise some questions, please feel free to ask them over the group chat window of Zoom or YouTube, and we'll try to take them here. Samniji, a couple of questions that have already come. Some of them are, first one is, how do we channel the anger of teenagers?
Yeah. First thing is that we can channel the teenagers' anger is that let them have a conversation. The best thing is to have a conversation that why they are feeling angry, what is the reason of angry. And the best thing is to practice just the whole family member can sit together, and because if everyone will sit together and will do the breathing process, then they can just, if you tell the teenager that please stop, don't do the angry, don't do the angry, they will not. They are seeing that their parents are also getting the angry. So at that time, parents should think that in the whole day, I will practice it. I will not get angry at that time. If the parents think in that way, then the kids will not get angry. And at that time they can also think a lot of things, that how can we improve their more life, what are their we can say uh, what they need more. This all things, if we just do, they can get this all.
That's an amazing answer, Samniji, I believe. Riti Shahji is asking the question, how to come out of sorrow when someone is emotionally hurt by action of others?
Yeah, it's a very good question. See that how can we eradicate sorrow, as I have given you, that why the person is feeling sorrow. First, we have to know. We have to take out his thoughts, that what are his thoughts, and just think that, or the best thing, that write down all the thoughts why he is getting sorrow, and just see that is this thought, is this sorrow, is this thought is useful, then cut. Is not useful, then cut it. If second thought again comes, is this useful, no, cut it. So if we do this way, we will eradicate or eliminate our means the sorrows. Just we have to ponder and think that is this sorrow is really useful or not useful.
Thanks a lot, Samniji. Prachi Shahji wants to ask, what is the difference between pleasing others and keeping them happy?
Okay. See, pleasing others, that keeping happy is good. But if you are trying to please others all the time, we are breaking our own happiness, because we don't know that, because that person always needs to, because that person is always showing that how can I get more peace and more peace. He is means getting more and more he wants. That's why. So the first thing is that she should try that, why should I please others? Is it important to please or not important to please? If this matter is important, then you please. And if it's not important, leave it away. If it's happy, also good. If it's not happy, also good. Why to, for others, why we are breaking our own happiness? Because we should think that this is a once we have got the lifetime. And in future we are going to get it or not get it, we don't know. So the best thing is that how much we can be happy with the self.
Thanks a lot, Samniji. Indeed, a very effective answer, I would say. Next question coming from Bansi Shah Bhai is, in today's world, people place a lot of importance on evidence. Is there any evidence, some sort of psychoanalysis study that you may want to point out that support JVB teachings regarding achieving freedom from sorrow?
I have not understood your question.
So, is there any analysis, analysis or study that you may want to point out towards, some scientist or some sort of maybe professors who may have acknowledged the kind of teachings that JVB teaches to get rid of sorrow? Okay, never mind. Maybe we can move on to a smaller question instead of still in the one. So Pragna Damani Ben wants to ask, is it, so you mentioned that it's wrong to have too many desires. So Pragna Ben wants to ask, is it wrong to desire to listen to you and other religious leaders as well, more and more, because even that is a sort of desire, isn't it?
No, it's not that. See, listening the good things. If we listen to the good things, we will have more ideas that how can, because if we listen, we will get the good things only. The things depend on what we are listening. We are listening to the good thing or to the bad thing. Like if someone now desire to look the movies, so it's we can say it's wrong all the time. But if you are listening any spiritual discourses in your life, it will help you to change your life better.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that, Samniji. Another question is, what is difference between self-inquiry and self-discovery?
Yeah. See, self-inquiry is that we have to think that, who am I? This is the self-inquiry. And self-discovery, we can say is that, just a minute. See, the process of, we can say that self-inquiry is who am I, we should think. And self-realization is that we have to think that only focusing on the me, not focusing on the others. We can say that the self-inquiry is that the moment I am thinking that who am I? And the self-realization also we can say that at the moment not focusing on others. It's a means we can say it's a very minute difference is that.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Samniji.
And if they have more queries, they can read the books of Acharya Mahapragyaji's Understanding Joy and Sorrow, and there are a lot of books in English also. They can read that books.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Samniji. A question from Dr. Sunil Anchalia, USA. If we have 15 minutes of time in a day, what would you recommend to control the anger, desire, and kashai? If we have just 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, at that time it's very good that it's Acharya Mahapragyaji used to that if you are like you are not having any time to sit and not just you are traveling. At that time, what you can do, Khechari Mudra. It's said that just the tongue you touch to your palate. Just you fold it and touch to your palate. This is the best way you can control your anger.
Thanks a lot, Samniji, for giving that shortcut. Okay. So how to avoid, Pratik ji wants to ask how to avoid negative thoughts in such tough times that we are all going through.
Yeah, it's that, see, as I have said, this is a negative. We have to know that it's all related, whatever we're having, it's all the karma. If we are having the good karma, we will get the good things. If we are having the bad karma, we will get bad things. In this time, we can think only out of the means. This is we can see that this will go in this way only. Just feel that this one only. कि जो जैसा हो रहा है उसको just see. Yata drashta bhav. Just see and do nothing. Like the movie goes on, you don't have any reaction on the movie or anything. Just the movie we see only. In the same way, just see what's going in the world.